Today, on the new Variety Arts Show, meet character actor, lecturer, humorist, and corporate comedian SteveTyra. Now, don't go channel surfing. This is where you want to be. Hi, everybody. It's a lesson in the Barnhart Dictionary every week here on the new Variety Arts Show. I'm Brad Zinn. I'm your host as we get ready to meet another exciting guest from the world of variety arts entertainment. And if you've never tuned into our show before, each week we get a chance to meet a different variety arts performer, find out what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and hopefully the next time you see a variety arts performer live and in person, you'll appreciate what they do just a little bit more. And of course, as always, if you have a question or a comment about our program, there's the phone number. That's the number to call if you'd like to talk to us, and operators are standing by, as they say. And also, if you have an entertainment event coming up that features variety arts entertainment, we'd like to know about it, and we'll try to get the word out on our show here on Public Access Television. Right now, here's somebody we hear a lot from on Public Access, Van Corriton, our musical director.
Thanks. We hear a lot from me, do we?
Well, every week you seem to turn up. So,
I turn up.
And that's, and that's quite all right. Hey, listen, I know it's a little bit late, but Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Rosh Hashanah has just concluded here, and
yes,
as we tape, we're headed into Yom Kippur.
Right.
And so for all our Hebrew friends out there, we want to wish them a very happy holiday. And you were part of the Harmony Festival that was just happening.
Right.
Tell us real quick about that.
Did. Well, it was to show the cultural diversity and unity of our state, and particularly the city, and had every kind of ethnic act and food and craft you can imagine down at Heritage Square and the Mercado.
And you did the Havdalah ceremony, is that right?
Right, which is the conclusion of the Hebrew Shabbat on Saturday evening.
Very nice.
Sunsets.
And
as
where
the sun sets, yes. You know, there I was.
And where can people come and hear you every week?
Well, they do come. They come to the Phoenician for afternoon tea from 3 to 5. We've had a lot of people come and say
in the
hello.
lobby.
Right there at the tea court in the lobby.
Very good. And the Kuwaitis are very nice about letting just anybody in there to be there for tea. Very good.
Exactly.
We have a lot of things to talk about today. First of all, my wife Brenda
yes.
is she's doing a new project now. She's a seamstress. I'll let you, maybe you can hold that. I don't want to tap the keys there, but she's making neckties.
All right.
And these are some of the neckties that she's putting out here. This is called Subtle Ties. They're very bright, very colorful. Let's see here. Here's one. She is a professional clown, Cuddles the clown, and there's one with a clown on it there. And what else? Oh, yeah, flowers. And oh, here's one. Remember Roger Blakiston, Jolly Roger?
Yes.
He liked that one, so he's taken that time.
One more.
So she has. Oh yeah, there's some animals. For I might wear that at Boo at the Zoo coming up.
Boo at the Zoo.
Boo at the Zoo, October 24th and 25th.
This one's actually rather subtle, don't you think?
I think so. Very subtle little pattern there. So those are some of the neckties that Brenda's making. Wonderful. And everybody seems to be going crazy about those. So thanks, Brenda. We appreciate it. All right. Now, it's October. That means one thing.
Only one thing?
Only one thing. Terry Stokes at the Arizona State Fair. The State Fair, if it's not here already, will be soon. Terry Stokes is going to be at the Arizona Lottery stage putting people under hypnosis. If you get a chance, go down to the State Fair. It's a free show once you get into the fairgrounds. And go up on stage and be hypnotized. A lot of fun. And we've had several hypnotists here. Terry is perhaps the premier hypnotist working around the country today. And be sure and tell him where you heard about it. All right. We have some other people to promote. Kim Welch, who'll be here next week, is at the Via Luna on Bell Road. Flash Covington's at Rawhide and Cafe Creole playing the sax and doing some magic. Kevin Barnes at the Excalibur Hotel in Las Vegas. And now, if we're ready, we have some screens coming up here to tell you about shows. There's Lynn Roberts' Big Band Jazz Show. I'll be a part of that as well, January 21st, 1993, 7:30 p.m. Alhambra, I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Alhambra High School, 37th to Camelback. Tickets available at the door. Doors open at 7, and it benefits the Sexual Assault Recovery Institute. Michael Finney appearing Thanksgiving week, November 23rd through the 29th. Michael was here, did 2 shows with us.
Yeah,
he's going to be at the Last Laugh at I-17 in Northern, so be sure and check that out. And also, IBM Ring 55, which is the local magic club here in Phoenix, is putting on an all-star magic show. March 19th and 20th. You think January is around the corner.
Yeah,
March will be here before you know it.
All-stars.
2 different public shows at the ASU School of Music Theater.
Well,
which
you
is
must be in that.
No, I wasn't invited, but maybe next year. I don't know. The ASU School of Music Theater is that round building. It looks like a cake, you know, with frosting on it.
Right.
And for more information, call 934-2057. We're going to talk more about that show next week on the show. And let's see, the Barbershop Quartet that we had here, Cactus Road, they're going to be in It's Barbershop Showtime, October 24th. Now, this is a little different than we've talked about previously, so here's the updated information. 3 and 8 o'clock, Thunderbird High School, call 866-7701 for more information, okay? So it's very important. Now, we heard from our old friend Paul Lennon. Remember Paul?
Sure.
Paul was at the California Mid-State Fair in Paso Robles, and he was with a lot of big stars. I think you noticed Ringo Starr. And,
Reba McEntire, a lot of people. Charlie Daniels Band.
Yeah, so he's been quite busy. But on the back here, his dates, he is on the SS Rotterdam, I think, this week as we speak, and he's down in the Bahamas. Unbelievable, tough work, but somebody's got to do it. Now, as we say, support Variety Arts in your community, and we gave you some places you can do that. But Variety Arts is now attaining a new respectability, folks, because America's Funniest People is now featuring Variety Arts performers every week on America's Funniest People.
That's a class show, let's face it.
Absolutely. But here's the nice thing. They're actually paying these performers.
That's class,
Now, that's class. They're going to fly them down to Florida, take care of their transportation, their hotel room, and pay them to be on the show. So if you're a variety arts performer, would like to be on America's Funniest People, get in touch with me, and I'll tell you how to get in touch with Tina. You can send a videotape and see if you can be on, and maybe, who knows, some of the guests that we've had here on the new Variety Arts Show might turn up on America's Funniest People.
They turn up. Everybody's turning up.
But that's the new vaudeville, folks. It's coming back hotter and stronger than ever. Well, today's guest is another versatile performer from the world of variety arts. He's a character actor, seen in such films as A Star is Born with Barbra Streisand, The Gauntlet with Clint Eastwood, and The Catskill 9 with Rory Calhoun. I believe that's right. We'll check. He's been a radio DJ. He's worked the comedy club circuit, and most recently has been presenting humor in the workplace seminars. Yeah, how to be more jovial on your job. I think we need more of that, especially down
here.
Well, no, but down at the DMV. I think those people need this guy's seminar worse than anybody. Most often he can be seen at a corporate event as one of his many characters clowning around and having a good time with the guests. Please welcome, oh, by the way, well, now, wait a minute. We don't have the roll-in just yet. We're going to show you what he does a little bit later.
Okay.
So we're going to cross over, sit down, and meet our guest today, SteveTyra.
Mosey on over.
Mosey on over here. How you doing, Steve?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are dressed now as one of your characters.
Oh my gosh, I am.
You have, I don't know if the camera can see this. You have
we don't want to miss that.
you have a sidearm with you.
Right there. That's
Right.
the Arizona Express card.
Well, we only ask one thing.
What's that?
Don't shoot the piano player.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll try not to.
He's doing the best he can.
Well, I heard what he was playing before, and it ain't too good, really.
Well, very good. Well, you're seeing quite around town quite a lot, doing these corporate events for groups that come in from out of town, and I guess we have a lot of folks from back east in the Midwest that come out to Arizona and they want to see some authentic Western entertainment. So
And that's what I do.
So what do you do at one of these corporate events? What would we expect you to do?
Well, a lot of times the people will hire me to come out and tell tall tales and Western stories and the Lost Dutchman gold mine and
Oh, yeah.
hair-raising Indian massacres and, all that kind of stuff. And, of course, you got to sound like a real old-timer.
Oh, of course.
But this isn't the way I sound all the time, of course. We all know that this is just sort of an affectation. I'm actually a dazzling urbanite inside.
Well, you do a lot of voiceovers and
Yeah, I do
maybe
a lot of
TV commercials.
yeah,
What anything we might have
cartoons,
anything we might have seen?
Well, there was a series of things that was running in the Midwest for a small oil company where I did the voice of Mr. T, which was kind of a bizarre
Oh, really?
thing. Yeah, which was because they couldn't afford the real guy. They had me doing it.
The guy with all the chains that used
Yeah.
to be a bodyguard for Sylvester
Right,
Stallone.
right.
Well, listen, Steve, you're a native of Phoenix, I know. And where did you go to school here?
Well, I went to a high school that no longer exists, which is kind of nice. Well, it's still there, but it's, I guess people blame that on me sometimes. I went to West High School, over there on 19th and Thomas. It's now called Metro Tech. Makes me feel good to know that the place where I originally learned all sorts of interesting esoteric things, I can now go over and learn how to cut meat there, which is a nice thing for me.
Well, now, you know, Kent Dana went to West High School.
Well, I know.
Was he in your class?
No, I had no class at all, actually, when I was going to high school. No, I didn't know Kent, but I think he was there about the same time.
Yeah, and Linda Day George, who was going on to Mission Impossible.
Oh, yeah, he was, you can tell my eyes have gone bad. Linda Day George was the darling of the photography professor over there. He had photos of her everywhere.
Oh, I can imagine.
And I guess he kind of got her started in the world of modeling and all that.
Could have
sort
been.
of
She
thing.
was the original Dove soap girl.
Yeah,
try Dove soap
one
on this
cheek
side.
and then the other cheek. Yeah, well, I tried that too, but I forgot and used a real Dove, and that didn't work too well. So. Yeah.
Well, tell me about being a radio DJ, because this is one of the ways that you got started in the business.
Well, it was a kind of a compromise, actually. I wanted to go into the world of theater and movies and all that stuff, and my parents had the good sense to tell me, no, you need a job that's like a real job, and you need to be able to earn a living. And I said, oh, all right. So I found the next best thing, which would be working in radio. I figured that would be sort of like showbiz. And I went to the Phoenix College Broadcasting School and got some background there, and then I went on over to the Ron Bailey School of Broadcast.
Ron Bailey School of Broadcast.
Where they teach you to say it that way. You can't say the word Ron Bailey. It always has to be said that same way.
That's because we're non-regional.
That's right. You have to sound like you're from nowhere. And I asked the guy one time, I said, how do you make your voice so deep? And he said, because I talk on my knees. I never understood that at all. But we had a lot of fun learning all kinds of things, and then I went out to conquer the world of radio.
And where did that take you?
Little towns that no one's ever heard of. He just couldn't get a start in a big town. Obviously, you got to start in the small towns like everywhere else.
Now, tell people what that's like, because oftentimes, as I remember, some of the smaller radio stations would sometimes broadcast out of like a mobile home.
If you were lucky. Sometimes they were outhouses that had a little transmitter on top of them, and really pathetic, because you do everything. Usually in a small station, you're the weatherman, the newsman, you'll do the farm reports, you'll be the DJ, and that's where you start learning how to use different voices, because they didn't want to make it sound like it was the same person. They thought it was a big budget deal, you know. So
Right.
you'd come in and do the weather in one voice, and, you know.
You'd come back and you do the farm report in a whole other voice, and you tell them about, well, the hog futures is up here, but I don't know there's much future in being a hog anymore.
You know, so we'd get to doing some things like that. I got out of radio because I thought I was going to be God's gift to radio, and when they found out it was coming COD, they sent it back. I couldn't make a living at it. And bounced around, did a few other things here and there, and wound up getting into the recording business.
Now, that's an interesting area. Obviously, in a small radio station, you have to do all of the audio engineering.
Production work and everything.
Production work
Sure.
and cut commercials and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And that has led you now to another aspect of your multi-talented, multifaceted career. And
You're
that's,
being far too kind, as a matter of fact.
well, I learned these big words, and I have to use
Yeah, it
them.
was like mellifluous. I got that a while ago, too. That was a nice word.
So this audio engineering now that you learned there has led you into a new part of your career. Tell us about that.
Well, I went to work for a company that was in the business of duplicating cassettes. You know, everybody has those cassette tapes, but nobody knows quite where they come from. There are actually companies that manufacture those.
I see.
And I worked in the recording studio where the master tapes were produced and put together, and then the tapes were duplicated. And that was going great until the company went right in the tank. We went bankrupt city, and I found myself unemployed and
This
looking for a
wasn't
job.
another SNL deal, was it?
No. This was before Charlie Keating. This was a whole
okay,
other thing. You know, there weren't a lot of investors, just a few people that lost everything they owned. And
When a business was a business.
yeah, when it was a real business, and only a few people went in the tank with it.
Yeah.
And so I went out there, found myself standing in the unemployment line, and I thought, well, at least I'll be able to pick up a check or two here and there. And had a friend that said, hey, you know, you could be doing that stuff on your own. You know, you don't have to do it for a company. And I said, well, yeah, right. He said, I got a project I want to do. Here's the deal. He gave me a deposit check, and he said, find a place to record it. So I went out and found a studio I could rent, and kind of started my own business that way. And as my wife says sometimes, he's the one that's to blame for me not having a real job today. And,
Not gainfully employed.
well, not all the time, yeah.
So now you do this for public speakers, is that
Yeah,
right?
that's my original group that I started out working with, and that's who I've stayed with, the people that are in the professional speaking business. I hate to use the analogy, but a lot of times people can only relate to that. Or they're the folks that you see on those late-night TV programs that are out there promoting how to make $1 billion in real estate with no money
sure.
down.
Right.
Well, it's that sort of thing, only with a lot more style and class in most cases. And so that's how I got into that business, and I discovered I had free time while I was in that recording business. A lot of times there wasn't a lot to do, so I had to do something else to make a living. Hey, I decided I could go back and perform, because I used to sit back and watch those speakers and go, well, I'm better than this guy. You know, I can do that right there. That's no problem. So I decided to go out and do it because I had the free time. And I went out and did about, I don't know, I lost track, somewhere over 150 service clubs and things like the Kiwanis and the Lions and all that stuff. And everybody'd always said, well, you're a real funny guy. Go out and be funny. So that's kind of what I got started into.
So this led to the creation of what you're doing now, which are called the humor seminars, or humor in the workplace, I guess. And you talk about things like using humor for stress reduction.
That's one of the most popular things that I'm doing. I discovered that you could do after-dinner talks and banquets and luncheons and that kind of stuff, but they would only hire you once because, oh, well, we had the comedian. So I started looking around to create something that was a business-oriented type program, and did a lot of research and talked to a lot of people and came up with humor seminars. And the stress reduction through humor is probably the most popular thing that I do. It's amazing. Everybody is all stressed out, and they're looking for a way to deal with it without having to take drugs or any of those things to relax. So humor is a good way to do that.
So this is what you're doing now for corporate groups.
Doing a lot of corporate groups, a lot of government agencies.
And I was just about to say some government agencies.
You mentioned the DMV, and I'm really trying to get in with those people. So if there's any DMV people watching out there, I'd really like to come and do some jobs for you guys.
I think you need to have Steve Tyra
You seriously need my help.
If you've stood in line to get your license renewed or register to vote, you know what we're talking about. Well, we have a clip of you performing for a corporate video, but now this needs, the reason we didn't show it right up front is because
it needs a little setting up.
We need to set this up a little bit. So why don't you, in 15, 20 seconds, try to set this up now. You're in this clip talking as a speaker, but there's a reason for what you're doing.
This was a promotional videotape for a company that was going to be doing a lot of booking of other speakers, and they were talking about the danger of hiring bad speakers. And so they hired me to come in and be the worst speaker you could ever possibly imagine. And you'll see from the audience reactions and some of the things that go on, I'm pretty much the worst speaker they've ever seen. So whatever you see there that's really bad and offends you is deliberate, believe me.
Right.
And the stuff that you really like was deliberate also. So.
So this is Steve being a bad speaker.
A very bad
speaker. This is not
speaker.
what you'd see.
This is not my regular shtick.
Not the regular shtick. It's Steve doing a character acting job. And then right after that, you also play Santa's helper during Christmas.
From time to time, I've been known to don the red suit, and the beard stays year-round. Turns suddenly white at that time of year. It's
and that's coming. That's just around the corner.
That's just around the corner.
So let's take a look at this clip of Steve Tyra giving a performance as a bad speaker and then as Santa's helper. And when we come back, we'll talk more with Steve Tyra. Don't go away.
And so that brings us to the conclusion of key point number 16, the final key point in our program. You know, if you follow my program for success and happiness, starting today, by Tuesday or Wednesday at the very latest, you're going to see some dramatic changes in your life. You know, in your life, you need to be very centered. You need to be perfectly balanced. And my gyroscope program is designed and guaranteed to see to it that life's hammer blows never again rain on your parade. You can achieve what you believe you'll receive. You know, Any road will take you where you're going if you don't know where you're going. But as the Cheshire Cat said to Alice, every road goes somewhere. But if you have a goal, you may need to make a detour or possibly a lane change. Because you see, it's not your aptitude, it's your attitude that will determine your altitude. And my friends, we've talked about a lot of things here tonight, but one of the most important things I'd like to have you remember is please avail yourselves of the miracle of spaced repetition learning. By listening to one of my cassette programs during every spare minute that you have, you'll be able to keep tonight's message fresh in your brain computer. Yes, your brain is a computer, and very much like the electronic computers that we know so much about today, the brain doesn't really make value judgments. It just lets in whatever there is, and it doesn't question it. It's been said in the computer industry for many years, G-I-G-O. How many people know what that means? Well, that means garbage in, garbage out. So if you put in negative, bad news garbage into your brain computer, what can you expect to get out? Negative, bad news garbage. Things like poor productivity, alcoholism, many of the ills of our modern society. You know, scientific research has proven that it takes 9 hours of good, positive input to overcome just 1 hour of bad, negative input. So beware of the nighttime news on the networks. Your success, your life, your future, and your children's future is in your hands. It's your choice. Will you be a hero, or will you be a zero? I'm going to conclude tonight with a poem that's become really kind of a trademark of mine, and sums up everything we've talked about in the last couple of hours. By the way, copies of the poem are available. They're suitable for framing, and they're only $3. I'll forever be the world's #1 best me. Drive very safely tonight. Have a nice day, and thank you very much.
For goodness sake, oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Very good. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Santa. Hi, Santa.
Hi. Have you been real good in here? Oh, I can hear you singing out there. My goodness. Anything else?
And a diary.
A diary? Why would you want that?
You write things in it.
Oh, everything that happens to you,
Yeah.
huh? Oh, now a diary, that's a real special thing. You're going to keep that?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And then when you get to be a big girl, you can look back and know all the things that you did, huh?
Yeah.
They're nice hats. Okay, what else?
A shaving kit.
Wait a minute. Let me check this. You don't need to shave. What do you want a shaving kit for?
Shave my legs.
Shave your legs? You think I need to shave my legs? Maybe I should do that too, huh? Oh, well, how you doing there?
Good.
Oh, let's see if we can get you clear up there. Boy, what do you want for Christmas this year?
Are we allowed to get lots of stuff?
Well, sure. Just tell me your list. What do you want special for Christmas? You don't know yet? You think you can come up with a list later on? You know what you can do? You tell the big people at your house and they'll let me know, okay? That's all right. You don't have to tell me now because you think
That was SteveTyra giving a performance as a bad speaker at a seminar and then as one of Santa's helpers. Tell us quickly about doing Santa. You must have some favorite stories working with all those little kids.
Yeah, some of the stories are amazing. They range from the heartwarming, wonderful, like Norman Rockwell kind of story to the ones that make you a little outraged and you wonder about the general public. You know, the things that people do with their kids.
Have you ever had a kid get scared and...
No, as a matter of fact, that's
You know what I'm
that's
talking
a
about.
myth. No, I have never had them make a wet spot on my pants, if that's what you're wondering about. You see that in the movies, but I've never yet had that happen, and over the course of the last few years, I've had somewhere in the neighborhood of around 2,000 kids during the season sit on my lap, so I don't think it happens all that much.
Yeah.
But you have some great things. The one that really is the grabber is the little kid that you ask them the question, you say, and what would you like most this year for Christmas? And they look at you and say, I want Mama to come home.
Oh, that's got to kill
The
you.
first time they say that to you, and you don't have an answer, you know, and you just kind of go, you know. But, yeah, you know, you finally get to where you learn how to deal with things like that. But it took a while.
Well,
Some good stuff.
now, what are some of the other characters that you do? We see the Western
Got
character.
the Western
we see
character.
Santa.
Got
we
Santa.
See...
Well, I do. I'm the Easter Bunny.
the Easter Bunny.
Yeah,
Now,
do
that must
the
be,
Easter Bunny. That's kind of different.
How is that described?
Well, it's not with a whole headpiece and everything. I have a special mask thing they made where my face stays exposed, which a lot of people think is a mistake, but I've discovered that works pretty well for me, so I can talk to the kids more, and I've got the ears that stick up and all that stuff. And I'm also the world's largest leprechaun, you know, and I explain the size by the fact that there's an unlimited amount of potatoes in the United States, so that's a good thing. And I do a lot of other...
I won't ask you to spell potato, but...
No,
go
no,
ahead.
well,
Okay.
no, I can spell potato, but I can't get quail down. I don't know, I just can't deal with that at all.
That was a cheap shot, but...
Yeah, well, I know, but that's pretty
It's
much it.
public
Hey,
access.
cheap shot. I got it right here. I'm ready for you. Then a lot of other things. I do a lot of characters that don't necessarily require costume. I do have a lot of costume pieces, but I've even gone out and I've impersonated the Internal Revenue Service from time to time.
Oh, really?
And I'm an expert on various kinds of things. Some people brought me in as a Russian agriculture expert to just totally incense this crowd, you know, and I was up there insulting United States agriculture, you know, saying, in Russia, we would not do things this way at all. It would be totally better. We would be growing hundreds of thousands of pounds of corn in this area where you're only getting like maybe 4 or 5 pounds. U.S. people is no good at all. And, of course, that's really nice. You know, those are the times when you see the dinner rolls whoosh, right by the head. You know, they're kind of bizarre, but it's a lot of fun.
I have to put you behind one of those screens like the bands play behind in
Exactly,
the
yeah,
bad bars.
the ones with the chicken wire to stop the beer bottles. I've worked in places like that.
So have I. So
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
I've seen your act. I know why you work there.
I'd rather be here. Get the gun.
Hey.
Okay.
I kid Brad because it's so darn easy.
That's right. Well, Steve, you're also an avid book collector. We've talked about
Oh,
this,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And you collect books on the Old West. Is this where you get some of your stories?
Some of the things you find in some real interesting old books, you come up with some real life stories that no one's ever heard before. I was mentioning to the other day a great story about a man named Tom Reining, who was the first captain of the Arizona Rangers. And a lot of people don't even know there were Arizona Rangers. You've heard of the Texas Rangers.
Well,
but,
Texas has a better PR for
Yeah, I
them.
think. Well, they're a little bigger. You know, Texas has what you call kind of a loudmouth kind of situation that they deal with. Arizona, we're a little more quiet, a little more laid back. The Texas Rangers, when they had trouble in a small town, they'd send a whole, maybe a company or a platoon of Rangers out to take care of it. The Arizona Rangers, we didn't have as many guys. We only sent 1 or 2. They said, if we need more than that, we haven't got the right people. And it's quite a story. It's some good stuff.
A good motto to live by.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
right. You're also a TV and movie trivia buff, too.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
What are some of the early recollections of television for you? Because you and I are close to the same age.
Yeah, well,
we kind of remember the same things.
Yeah, we
growing up.
were having some discussion about that the other day. One of the ones I remember on local TV, for those of you that have been in the Valley a long time, I remember way back before the Wallace and Ladmo show, when it was the Gold Dust Charlie show.
And there was also Sheriff Bill.
Sheriff Bill, exactly. But Gold Dust Charlie, I was on that show when I was a little kid, and Gold Dust Charlie looked a little like I do. And it was interesting. It was my first television performance. It was in the days of the old Disney show with Fess Parker as Davy Crockett. I got up and sang the theme song from Davy Crockett and won some kind of prize. So
How about that?
That was my big show.
And I was on the Wallace and Ladmo show.
Yeah.
And you know what?
What?
The clock says we're out of time.
Oh, no.
I have to come back again.
I'll be
Steve.
back.
All right.
All right.
SteveTyra, folks. Character actor and corporate comedian. We didn't get to talk enough. Thank you, Van, for being here today. Play us out, and thank you, folks, for making it possible. Support variety arts in your community. Bye-bye, everybody.